Yo guys, what's going on? It's Actix here, finally bringing you the render tutorial which I have been promising you guys. So hopefully it's been worth the wait. It'll be worth the wait. So essentially, you're going to start with obviously a blank Cinema 4D window. You're going to go to your File, Open, or File Merge, and you're going to pick a .ai. So in this case, I'm going to be using my logo, just like that. I'm going to be centering it. There we go. So this is my logo. This is the AI which I've imported from Photoshop. And for those of you that don't know how to create an AI and make a 2D object from Photoshop become 3D, just request a tutorial for that in the comments, and I'll definitely do one if a lot of people want to know how it's done. So what you're going to do, first thing is click on your layer, hold the Alt key on your keyboard, go to Extrude NURBS, and what that does is it puts your logo and it creates it, it makes it 3D. So you're going to click on the Extrude NURBS, go to Object, and bump up the movement, but this is the depth. I'm going to put it to 100. I'd say between 80 and 100. And yeah, that'll do you good for this style. So to begin with, you're going to this is what you're going to be working with. So you have to pick how, like, this is going to be hard for me to explain, but essentially this is what you're going to be working with. So if you want to add anything, it's going to have to be now, because well, actually, discard what I just said. Click on your Extrude NURBS, hit the letter C on your keyboard, and what this does is it makes your logo editable. So you're going to go to another way of doing that is clicking on this little globe. So selecting your Extrude NURBS and clicking on this little globe here, and that also makes it editable. So you're going to open up your Extrude NURBS, and you're going to click on Cap 1. Then on the left hand side you're going to have a taskbar similar to this one, and I have Max, so the buttons are slightly different, the image. However, you're going to be looking for one that has a cube or an object with one orange or highlighted side. So you're going to go ahead and click that, and as you can see, the logo now has a blue outline, and that's exactly what you want. So you're going to go ahead and right click wherever, and you're going to have this large list of tools available to you after you have made anything editable. So you're going to click on knife right here. Make sure you have the first cap selected, and this is where you can pick and choose. Actually, I don't know why I did that. Let me see. Select children. Let me see if that fixes it. Yeah, okay. So let me show you what I just did. Essentially, you're going to right click on your Extrude NURBS before cutting or anything, and selecting Select Children. Then go back to doing what I was saying, click on Cap 1, and then with the knife, you're going to go ahead and pick out certain areas where you want your renders to go through. So I'm just going to pick a couple, just like this. Let's see. That'll do fine. So now that I've chosen 3 parts, you're going to go to your Move tool, hold Shift, and select all 3 of the parts. Then right click, go to Extrude right here, and you're going to click and drag to the left. And what this does is it pushes in that specific part in comparison to the rest of your logo. So this is where you're going to be. This is what you're going to be working with. So from here, that's where you're going to be inserting different key components to make your render. So now that I've taken out these three parts of my logo, obviously you can do it anywhere you like, but I'm going to begin with splines, and this is similar to having a wire running through the rest of your logo. So actually, just so it's easier to to see, I'm just going to put a color, there we go, and then just make a second one for the wires. You don't have to do any of this. I mean, this is hopefully in your Lightroom you already have pre-made colors. So essentially what you're going to do is on the top right of your window, there is this little button right here. You're going to go ahead and click that, and I don't know why one second, I'm trying to figure out why the view is, okay, here we go. In the bottom right, you're going to go ahead and click on the same button. And so what this does is it gives you a bird's eye view of your logo. And the great thing about this view is that there's absolutely no lag. So you can have a really high number of objects and it will not slow down your computer. So from this view, you're going to go here and go to freehand. So this is a spline, and what you're going to do is you're going to freehand a couple of these. I tend to draw more than one like that. I'm just going to draw one here and then have just one just running through. I like to have it be a slight bit longer than the edge, just so I make sure I'm not missing out on anything. So then you can click back up here and go back to your normal view. From here, as you can see, these are very faint lines. It's pretty much useless to us. So also the second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to push these all back by selecting them and going onto the move tool and just pushing them back into the gap. So just like that. There we go. Now what you want to do is select one, hold down Alt, go to Sweep NURBS. Go ahead and do that for all of them. Sweep NURBS while holding on Alt. And then, clicking on the spline, you're going to bring in a circle, just like this, and you're going to bring it in above your spline. Now, as you can see, it makes kind of a mess, but that's fine. You're just going to go down to your radius and make that 2. So as you can see, that bulked up the spline we had hand drawn before. So you're just going to follow the same step. You're going to go ahead and I'm actually going to make this much faster and copy paste this by holding down Control and dragging down, and it does a little plus symbol, and you know that means it's actually no, there we go. I should do it. There we go. So you're going to put it above your spline like that. There we go. So now you have all 4 splines, or at least in my case I have 4, and they all run through my logo, and it just looks pretty abstract and it looks pretty cool already. So that's a good thing. You're going to, just so you guys can see it better, I'm going to put a red color. However, when I have a space like this and I have more than one, I like to have them be 2 different colors because it just looks more natural that way. So I'm gonna have one in the foreground, which is red, and one in the background, which is a gray color, or any other color of your choice. Okay, so the second part, other than the splines, is the cogwheels, which is also a very typical thing for people to use. So you're gonna go here to your spline menu, and there is a cogwheel option, just like that. What I like to do is don't touch any of the options except for the teeth. I tend to bring it down a bit. 15. I'm just gonna go with 12. 12 looks good to me. So you're gonna go cogwheel, hold down Alt, go to Extrude NURBS. So now you have a 3D cogwheel, and you're gonna go to your scale button or tool right here, and you're gonna click and drag in. And what this does is it doesn't change the ratio. It just scales it down, just like the proportion changes. So you're going to try to actually go into the same view as before, going to the bird's eye view. So you, just to repeat that, you go to the top right corner, you click this button, you go here, click there, and then just like that, you're going to move them into place. So I typically have one larger one, And then since this gets absolutely full of layers when you're modeling, I like to group my objects. So I'm just gonna select all of my tubes, and I'm gonna hit Alt G, and that groups them. That's just a shortcut for grouping. So I'm just gonna do the same thing here for the cogwheel, Alt G. So now that's in a group, and when I duplicate them, I'm just going to drag and drop them into my group to keep everything organized. So I typically have one larger cogwheel, and then just filling in the spaces, you're going to use different sized cogwheels. So just keep repeating this process. Try to make it look natural. I'd say that's pretty important. It's obviously it's up to you how many you want to put and the size, but just try to make it look like a real piece of machinery, like where there's no spaces missed. So I'm just going to, there we go. Essentially, just repeat this step until you've filled up. I would pick one of the slots, if not two, but I wouldn't do it on absolutely all of them, just because there's a ton more stuff to do in this tutorial. So just try to keep your options varied, because there's definitely a lot of material in this tutorial. So I'm just gonna continue copy pasting and then scaling up or down the cogwheels. So same as before. So let's say I'm happy with this design. This will do fine for now. There's really no need to go and put too much effort into this, but you guys get the idea. So you're going to, I'm just going to put these all into my group right here. Rename that to cogwheels, like that, and this is my tubes. So cogwheels, I'm just going to push these all back. So click on my group, and that selects all of them, and then push it back behind the spline which I had drawn before. So as you can see, you're just going to want to keep it in the background like that. And it's kind of hard to see now just because of the Lightroom, but if I were to, no, that doesn't help at all. Alright, either way, it'll show up in the Lightroom. As long as you have a well lit Lightroom, everything will go according to plan. So next part is creating luminescent tubes. So you're going to go to your Objects tab, and there's various ways of doing this, but I'm just going to show you the way I've done it. Like recently, I go to Tube, move that over, go to Orientation, Z minus, turn your inner radius 0, your outer radius, make that pretty small, something, I'm going to say 7, between 7 and 6. And actually, I'm just going to reorient it as it was before, putting it on Y+. And from here, you're going to bump up the cap segments, as well as the height segments. And the caps, and the height segments need to be an odd number. So it's your choice. I'm just going to use 7. And the reason why is, well, I'm going to show you right now. When you want to edit something, if it's an even number, you'll end up having, well, actually, I'll just show you. So you're going to hit the letter C on your keyboard, once again, makes it editable, or just hitting the globe right here. Going to your, I'm not sure, okay, polygon mode, that's what it's called. And then you're going to hit UL on your keyboard, and that's loop selection. So you're going to click, hold shift, and then skip 1 in between. And as you can see, this is the reason why I made it an odd number of height segments, because had it been even, it would have left, I would have had 1 here, and well, just the selection would have been awkward. So after selecting like that, an alternating pattern, you're going to go to Extrude, click and drag outwards, bevel, click and drag outwards a little bit, and then this is where I use a glowing material. So you can, for example, I'm gonna make this red color, and then put my glow. This is a bit high, like that, and click and drag that onto the highlighted part, and as you can see, that does just that. Then go back to your UL. So U opens up all the commands, and then L is loop selection. So loop selection, hold shift and select all of the loops inside. I'm just going to zoom in to get a better view, like that. Do the same on the bottom, holding shift. Make sure you hold shift. So let's just get a good view on this. There we go. Still holding shift. You're just going to go ahead and there we go. So after you've selected top and bottom, you're going to right click, bevel, click and drag, and I like to, it's just to give it like a slight, it's like a cup to it, like that, and then from here a matrix extrude. Okay, that is not, actually I take that back, no matrix extrude. For now, this will do fine for now. So from here, I'm just going to remodel this by slightly increasing the length, just like that. And from here, you're going to insert this in open space, similar to, if I can get my mouse, there we go. So I'm just going to scale it down. There we go. Rotate it like that, and just position it in the background of my tubes. Same thing as before. I tend to vary what is inside each box just to keep things interesting. So there you go. So now you've got that in the background, and I'm just going to be showing you another thing, which is you're going to go to Tube, C minus, make the inner radius 0, turn it down a bit to like 70, then turn up the cap segments, once again odd number, so I'm going to put it on 5, and height segments on 3. I don't need this much thickness, so I'm just going to bring the height down a bit. There we go, so to about 50. And you're going to hit the letter C once again. Go to your polygon mode, UL, loop selection, and then you're going to want to, this kind of depends on personal preference, but this is how I've done it. So you're going to select the outermost loop, and then skipping the one after, right click, matrix extrude, and then click and drag to the right, and you have these little spikes that come out, and from here you're going to go to your rotate options on the right, and I like to turn it up to just a little bit, and what that does is it gives it a nice effect. Obviously, when you have a Lightroom with colors, it's going to look much better than it does now without a Lightroom. So you're going to go back to your UL, you're going to select the innermost layer, right click, bevel, click and drag, and do a little dome like that, and then UL, select it again, put a red material on it, and then on the outermost layer as well. Then on the second layer, you're going to do matrix extrude again, like that. However, I like to go the opposite direction and making it -16, +2. There we go. So this is this piece right here. You're going to go to back to your normal mode, go to your move. This is typically the centerpiece. this, you can center it or position it wherever you like. So I'm going to go to my scale tool, click and drag down, as so. This is a very basic way of doing all of these things. Obviously, for example, these tubes, be as creative as you wish. This is just to show you the basics on how to make all these things. So after you've centered it, which will do fine, just like that, I'm going to show you the final thing, which I did on my logo, which this is the way I've taught myself to do it. There's definitely, for sure, different ways of doing this, but this is how I did it for my tutorial, or for my speed art, excuse me. So you're going to bring in a cube. You're going to, if you see on the, right before the ends of each arrow, there is a little orange or yellow dot right here. You're just going to click and drag that down, and what this does is it rescales. So I'm just going to make that a tad bit smaller, just like that. Alright, same thing for the width, you don't need it to be like that. Alright, so now from here, you're going to bring in an atom array, drag in the cube, make the sphere radius 0.4, and then subdivisions, I believe, actually no, go to your cube and turn up the X and Y. If you want, you can do the Z, but it's not really as visible. So there we go. So now you have like a cage, and from here you're going to, let's go back to our bird's eye view, zoom out a bit, there we go. And then what I did for my speed art was I had one part right here, which is this cage look. So I'm just going to rescale it so that it fits. There we go. Let's see. There we go. So now that it's within the boundaries, I'm just going to go back to my normal view and then push it back into my logo. So let's see how that looks. There we go. So as you can see, it is, let's see, there we go, just like that. So you've got this kind of a cage effect. I made the mistake in the beginning of the video of cutting out this part as well. I wish I hadn't done that, just because I'm gonna have to, well, whenever you have empty spaces, try to fill them up. Possibly cogwheels would have done well there. But yeah, other than that, I'm just going to show you, let's see, one more thing, which would be these sort of clamps that people have been doing. So actually, hold on, I will be right back. Alright guys, sorry about that. So what I was going to show you was how to make sort of clamps which people have used in their renders. This is not something that I used on mine, but it's just an extra thing that I thought I'd throw in. So you're going to bring in a tube once again, and then let's see, there we go. Go to your tube options, turn down the inner radius to 0, like that. Turn down your outer radius, turn it down to, actually it doesn't matter because you can rescale it later, but you're going to make your rotation segments 5. Alright, then you're going to bring up your height segments to 2, hit the letter, wait, actually turn down the height a bit, you don't want it to be that thick, hit the letter C on your keyboard once again, go to your polygon select, UL for loop selection, you're going to click the foremost layer or loop on the outside, go to matrix extrude, and then you're just going to bring it in a bit just like that. Let's see, and you're going to do this twice. So I'm going to repeat what I just did. I clicked and dragged to the right, so what this did is it brought out these like clamps, and then from here you can adjust, actually I'm not going to do that, leave it to 0, and then you can bring in the clamps a bit like that with the rotate. But what I like to do is just a second There we go. Just a second click and drag with the matrix extrude just curls it in a little bit. And then here, this is not necessary. You don't have to do any of this, but I thought I'd just throw it in just for you guys to see. I'm going to merge my AI once again. There we go. Make it smaller. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put my logo inside these clamps. And what this is going to do is I'm going to give the main logo sort of these like arms, and they're going to be holding miniature versions of my logo. So let's see if I can get this. Alright, there we go. You're going to hold Alt, Extrude NURBS, just make it a different color so we can see it. There we go. Turn it down, sort of scale it up a bit. There we go. And I'm just going to push this inside like that. So just keep adjusting it. This is a very tedious and time-consuming process, but obviously the more time you put into your render, the better it's going to come out. So I highly recommend taking your time and just trying to put as much detail as you can and trying to be unique. So obviously with this tutorial I'm just showing you guys the basics of this, but essentially you're gonna select the clamp and your logo, Alt G to group, just like that, and then so this is my clamp. There we go. And you're going to with the aerial view once again, zoom out, go to your spline, and then from slightly behind the logo you're just going to select something like this. There we go. So you've two on opposite sides, and now I'm going to show you. So same process as before. Click the spline, hold down Alt, sweep NURBS, do it on both, and then go to your spline menu and bring in a circle. Turn the radius down to 2, and there you go. So now we have, actually I'm going to turn up the radius to about something noticeable. There we go. Something 4, for example. You don't have to follow everything, just make sure it's visible. So just like that. I'm going to slightly rotate them just so they have more of a 3D look, like that. And like that. Okay. So essentially I've given my logo these sort of like arms, and I'm going to put my clamp, and it's going to have to be, there we go, smaller, like that. And you're going to put it on the end of the tube, just like that. And so now you have these miniature versions of your logo on the ends of these like tentacles that are coming off of your logo. This is something unique. You obviously don't have to do this, but it's just something that I have seen other people do, so you might find it useful. Also, make sure to rotate things. It just gives it more of a natural look on your final image. So my clamp here, rotate it like that, and you can do as many sets of arms as you like. I wouldn't recommend doing too many just because it ends up looking overdone. So let's see, I'm gonna bring in a greebler and put in my sweep NURBS. Then go to stock greebles, take off generate greebles, put my base minimum 0, and then maximum I'm gonna bring it down. There we go. Turn off the bevel. And what this does is it gives it kind of a mechanical look. It'll just look good on your render. So you're just gonna do the same thing. There we go. So now you have these two mechanical arms with miniature versions of your logo coming out. And just as a final piece, let's see, I'm just gonna put a final cogwheel behind my entire logo, just like this. Find everything. Hold down Alt, go to Extrude NURBS, like that, and there we go. So that is my final image. I'm going to render this out, and at the end of the video I'm going to be showing you a final version of this logo and how it looks. So hopefully you guys learned something from this tutorial. It did take me half an hour to complete everything, but I hope it was worth it. So yeah, guys, here you go, my render tutorial. Hope it helped, my modeling tutorial. So make sure to drop a like and comment letting me know what you want my next tutorial to be, because I'm kind of running out of ideas. And also, my Skype is crashing constantly. I cannot fix it, which is the reason why I'm not answering people or accepting people on Skype. It just won't let me open it anymore since I updated my software on Mac. So there's kind of a problem with that, but other than that, hopefully you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and make sure to drop some feedback in the comment section just to let me know what you guys thought about this video. So peace out, guys.